It was the Villisca Axe Murder House, and that was on my bucket list from when I was, like, 12 years old, when I was watching on ABC Family, the Most Haunted America, whatever it was, and I it haunted me. The story, the thought that someone was, like, hiding up in an attic while these people were sleeping, like, waited for them to fall asleep. I had to babysit the night that I heard the story for the first time, and I I was, like, I was convinced that somebody was in the house, so it was always on my list. It was anytime anyone would ask me, because that's a popular question, like, "What's on your bucket list?" It was immediately that, all the time. And I finally got the chance to go out there, and I went on a little paranormal road trip with my friend Gigi from Paranormal XL podcast, and we were celebrating their anniversary, the podcast anniversary, and we had booked the house for the whole night, and we had planned to I was gonna film the episode, and then we were gonna stay there all night and investigate, and so much stuff happened that was so dangerous and terrifying, and honestly, if someone told me the story of what happened, I would have told them I was lying or they were lying. Like, just sounds so insane. There's a period of time where I'm in the house and I'm standing where the killer stood over the parents, and you can see I said something I said, "I feel like I'm changing." I don't know what that means, but I feel like I'm changing, and then I started to describe myself from the feet up, and by the time I got up, I was gone, and I have no recollection of that time, and you can see it on my face, like, my eyes turn black, my jaw goes slack, the shape of my face changes, like, everything changes, and I had done something unprecedented for the show, which was I was too scared to go upstairs by myself. Something was felt wrong, and I asked to bring Gigi in the house with me because I didn't wanna do it by myself, and in hindsight, I think I was already being taken over and was looking for someone to bring in the house with me because if we hadn't been live, I would have hurt her because I wasn't there, I wasn't myself, it was terrifying to look at. And they are asking me questions, they catch on that something's wrong, and they're asking me questions and they ask if they can ask me names, and I said no in, like, this weird voice, and then they said they started asking me the names anyway, and then I did this weird, like, laugh that was not me, and I was just ignoring them, and then they had asked me, like, 2 minutes before, what was my K2 meter doing, and I had said, again in a weird voice, "It's dead." But this is now after this, like, line of questioning, I turned to Gigi, who I had somehow trapped in the corner of the room, like, she couldn't get away from me, and I was right next to her, and I looked her dead in her eyes, and I said, "The meter's dead just like they are," in, like, this
Wow.
weird voice. And at that moment, Richard Lale recognized something was wrong, like, really wrong, and he said, "Get out of the house, get out of the house, get out of the house," and that's the only thing that I remember, was his voice saying, "Get out of the house." And even me walking out of the house, I look like a robot. Like, there's no expression on my face whatsoever. I get outside, I'm taking breaths, I'm trying to come back into myself, and I turned to Gigi and I said, "I'm ignoring everything that everybody's saying to me." And I turned to Gigi and I said, "I wanna go in the attic." And she was like, "What do you mean?" And everyone who was watching in the comments was like, "2 minutes ago, she was too scared to go inside upstairs by herself, and now suddenly she needs to go in the attic, like, this still isn't her." And I set up my camera and I was trying to convince everybody, like, I was back to myself, but you could even see in the way I was standing. Gigi said I, like, straightened up and I looked like a lumberjack, like I was standing like a working man. And I was standing in front of the thing and I was talking in, like, the first person. And I said, "I wanna go upstairs in the attic, but I don't wanna look in the children's room because I don't wanna see what I did to those kids." And
Wow.
it was just wild, and it took me so long to come out of it. And then at the end, I had bought for anyone that doesn't know the story, the killer killed them all in their beds while they were sleeping, covered the mirrors, did all kinds of weird stuff, took out, like, a hock of ham, was or bacon, something hock bacon, and was gonna fixed himself a meal and didn't eat it at the table. So I had gone to get a trigger object. I got ham because I can't eat raw bacon, but I wanted to sit and eat a meal and complete that as, like, the closing of the show. And I had gone outside to make a special trip because I forgot it. started to get ready, realized I forgot it, went outside, got the bag, brought it inside. At one point in the beginning of the show, the bag was lifted off the table and dropped on the ground. And then I go to close out the show with this, and I open the bag and the ham is gone. And I am livid. Like, I cannot my anger is it was way too big. It was too big of a reaction for ham, but I was so mad where he took my ham and he took my ham and I'm so mad and give me back my ham and where's my ham? And David Sloan said, what's gonna happen is you're gonna find that ham and it's gonna be a sign that the killer's traveling with you. And I was like, you're horrifying and don't say things like that to me ever again. But we end the show, we run out of the house, literally run out of the house. We go out into the barn and the ham is sitting there. So I was like, "Nope, like, I want nothing to do with the ham." So
Wow.
cleaned everything up.
Wow.
We decided we couldn't stay. We couldn't stay, and
Wow.
I used to make fun of people that would just run from this house because how could you be there and not wanna be there the whole night? I was there for 2 hours, couldn't do it. We ran in the house, it was the fastest breakdown of an investigation I've ever seen. We were literally throwing stuff out the door just to get it out of the house so that we could get out of the house. We gathered up all the trash. They said to me, "Do you want the ham?" I said, "No." Put it in the trash bag. We put it in the trash bag. We put the trash bag in the dumpster, skedaddle out of there, get a hotel room, wake up the next day, we're back on the road to Michigan. And we had completely rearranged the car, all this stuff, whatever. And we're driving to Michigan, and I go and I open a bag that had never left the car. It did not come into the house with us. It did not come into the barn with us. It had not left the car. I open the bag to pull something out, and there's the ham. And I was just like, "You've got to be kidding me." Like, I can't. And after that, I I got home, I couldn't sleep for 5 weeks. I experienced trauma in that house, and
Yep.
an avid fan of horror movies. I love playing scary video games, and I couldn't do any of that for 5 full weeks. I slept with the lights on. Like, my, then 13-year-old kid would or 12-year-old kid would say to me, "Can we just turn the lights off, please? It's so bright in here." I'd be like, "Nope, can't sleep, can't do it." So, it was you could not pay me enough to go back. You couldn't pay me enough. It was so dangerous and scary, and it's just I think the worst part of it is that I had these absolute boundaries that I would set that I've worked on for years and years and years. You will not cross them. You will not come with me. You will not hurt me. You will not anything. And I've never once questioned them. And as soon as I walked in that house, probably even before, honestly, I walked in that house, whatever was there was like, nope, I don't care about those boundaries. Like, where you're out. And it did. It just walked right through them.